of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'll move the consent agenda before we get started.
Okay, let the record show all members are present. We got a motion to move the consent agenda by Supervisor Wickman and second by Supervisor Shea, right? Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, like sign. Hearing none, motion passes. Next up, we have Jason Slack, Buildings and Grounds, and Wyatt Wurgis?
Wurgis.
Wurgis?
There you go.
Okay, thank you. ETI discussion and or decision on cost neutral change to the scope of work concerning the courthouse chiller and for the courthouse addition project. Who's taking it away here? You, Jason?
I'll start. So we've been running with our current chiller here for a few months, and we're starting to notice that it would probably run our crack unit better if we resized it. Wyatt had been working on some of the technical aspects of that. So I'll let you kind of explain that.
Yeah, so more or less, we have a computer room air conditioning unit, a crack unit that serves the server room. We anticipated a certain load just based kind of off the equipment that had been provided during design of the renovation project. The actual load versus what we expected is much less. So when you run during the winter, the only thing that's going to be running is the crack unit on the chilled water system. We do have a backup unit that it's being provided with the addition project. But what we want to do is make sure that our chiller is right sized for that crack unit. So that crack unit's about 20 tons. Right now our chiller, the current chiller has 4 30-ton compressors. It can run one of those. A 30 and a 20, we can make that work and line it up without much issue. But given that the server room the load is so much less, we were looking at it and it makes sense in the addition project. So we're not going to modify the existing chiller, but the new chiller would be buying. It made more sense to buy a slightly smaller chiller, but buy a chiller with more compressors. So we can really nicely align the loads between the chiller and the crack unit. So that's what this change is. So it's a 20-ton reduction. So it's a 100-ton chiller versus a 120-ton. It does not cut into the redundancy that was requested because our load is lighter. Plus we have the crack unit we're also adding for that server room. So you get a slightly less tonnage, but you have more components. So it ends up being about it's cost neutral. So we would recommend making the change just to right size that for the building.
Why did we miss the load requirements?
So it was based off, there was kind of two components of it. We get provided a list of equipment and there's kind of estimates that are made based off the components that are put in that rack. There was some plan for future expansions, so we knew there was going to be a little bit of excess capacity, but we didn't expect it to be only like 10 tons versus 20. So more or less, it's refining that number and in the future, probably getting better information. Sometimes that information's it's difficult to calculate what it's actually going to run at because it's based on what your actual requirements are and it's an estimate. So we use kind of historical data to kind of come up with that, and it was just long.
Is this chiller just always on then, or is it
Basically, yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
It's one chiller for the whole building.
Currently. There will be 2 chillers in the future after the addition project.
Oh, there will be.
So this is not modifying the current chiller, it's modifying the second chiller we were going to be adding.
Okay.
Okay, so we don't run any cooling tower, so like that.
No, it's air.
All air cooled, yep.
They just wanted to make sure the board was aware that the existing chiller wasn't taking on a big enough load and it was gonna cause some issues with it down the road, right?
Maybe. It's one of those, so when you're missizing your compressor with your load, what causes it to happen is gonna cycle on. So you wanna really try to align that so that basically we can keep the compressor on all the time, just like starting your car. If you're starting your car all the time, it's bad for it. But if you keep it running, it's better. It's the same concept. You keep the oil in the system, you keep it from cycling on and off, you keep the amp draw from that initial onrush current
That's
from
what I was curious,
constantly
the
carrying.
amp draw when you first, so this thing's just on, it's not really
That's
shutting
the
off.
intention, during the winter when we get to, 10 degrees out, and the only thing that's running is that crack unit, because the rest of the building's on economizer. that's when you're gonna start to see some load misalignment. And we just wanna get out in front of that.
What's the swing for us? I mean, is it substantial? It's like down right where if we turn our chiller on, I mean, that's the most expensive day of the year. You know, I'm wondering if that's a similar thing for us with this.
Well, the hotter days are the more expensive days for us,
Right.
and they will be going forward.
Right?
Well, the chiller's staying on though. I mean, your load when you fire that chiller up is substantial, I'm assuming. compared
It's
to-
not on off. I mean, you gotta think about, basically it's a 120 ton chiller, but it, right now, 4
Those running
compressors.
cycles through that.
So it's gonna modulate to hit a load. And we wanna make sure that modulation can really dial down to match the tonnage.
Makes sense.
Do you need a motion for this, Jason? There's no dollars, there's no,
No, it was basically just our intention was to inform the board of the change and make,
So this new chiller is going on this new building?
going on the roof of the 5th floor up there, next to the
Right.
other one.
Okay,
So we designed all of that, the anticipation of another chiller. And it's just basically right sizing that second chiller.
okay. So they're all automatic controlled, right?
Yep,
Mhm.
They send you a notice on your phone if something
yes,
goes.
Right.
wacky or whatever.
yep.
Okay.
Jason, Wyatt, thanks for the update on that, I appreciate it.
Okay, so we don't need to do anything on this?
Nope,
Okay.
Thanks, you guys.
thank you.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Have a good day.
Good thing is we still have the capacity here.
Okay, next up, we have Jamie Peterson, GIS, and/or David Bear, CIO, discussion and/or decision to approve and fund near map agreement.
Yeah,
Who
so
wants to start?
I've got a agreement here from Nearmap, who's an aerial photo provider, in the amount of $8,000, and it covers an annual subscription to their captured area of interest, flight and future flights. And, this agreement locks the county, the city, and our users into a little bit different type of aerial photo provider than what we have now. And this does not cover the whole county, but it's a small piece. I'm not calling it a trial, it's actually useful information, but it will also let us vet a different vendor prior to our next large 6-year aerial photo contract. GIS does not have this money in our budget now. We did not know when they would fly, so I'm asking the board to pay for it and approve signing this agreement in the amount of $8,000.
How soon before our 6-year cycle?
So that contract will come back up in 2023. 2022 will be our final flight of 3 that were spread across 6 years. So, you know, I was thinking about this example. If you live in the rural part of the county, you might get someone that offers you an aerial photo picture of your house. So think of that, that's Nearmap. Nearmap is flying the pictures before. So they've already flown these. They flew in May, they'll fly again next year. Whereas our traditional contract, we pay them before they fly. So this is a totally different model. We've never used that kind of strategy before, but it's new in the marketplace.
Will they stop coming to my house and asking me to?
No, they won't. They'll send you the photo that says proof
They get so
on it
pissed
and then
too, I
ask
tell
you
them
for
no.
$200.
How much is our other contract?
That total contract is $380,000. So approximately $130,000 per 2-year flight. So when we're talking a small percentage to cover, it's not all of Council Bluffs, it's what I would call the urban part of Council Bluffs. And so it's just a small area of interest, but it does cover about 80% of our views and our structures. So I said it's not a trial, but it is a good way for us as a county and users to see if this is a product that is a competitor going forward for our primary product too.
Jamie, last year, at the end of the fiscal year, you turned back $31,000. Was there any expenses that you didn't, or any equipment or anything that you didn't purchase?
You need that
That
31,000
we
this
had
year?
an intern, which we did not do. We had travel expenses, which did not happen, and we had a training scheduled that did not happen. And all three of those culminated in that number.
Okay. David, you turned back 36,000. Was there any, equipment or anything that you didn't purchase?
No, we got everything that we had planned for that fiscal year.
So then you should have that in your budget then, right?
We do.
The 8,000?
It's in our budget now, you're saying, or last year's budget?
I
We
was
would
trying to
have.
ask you, you turn back that 30-some thousand, you turn that back again this year, or are you gonna end up spending it? Because if you're not spending it, then we're not gonna adjust the
Right.
money, you're just gonna take it out.
I would like the board, I don't know, what, you know where I'm going, right, David?
I know where you're going, yeah.
Okay.
Because then we're just increasing your budget $8,000, and then it's like, next year, you're gonna keep that $8,000 in your budget, or you're gonna
Can you take that out of your
The
budget?
training is a one-time deal, so the training is a $15,000 item. That will happen this year, and that will certainly drop off our budget. The intern is something that we've always had in the budget, and last year was just an anomaly.
You explained yours, I let you off the hook.
Okay, all right.
David, can you pick that cost up, David, and if we need to, we'll amend your budget?
We could do that.
All right, thank you very much, David.
What, it's gonna start today?
It was, I think it takes a couple days for them to process, and then within a matter of a few days, we could be online. We already did a trial with them.
Right.
So we have, I mean, on our public-facing GIS site, it would be online within a matter of a few days. of signing the
So
agreement.
do I have the agreement here?
Yeah, it was in the packet.
I'm looking at the one on the, let's see, the one on my updated, deal, and it's showing it starting today.
Well, don't we have
Quote,
access?
okay, so part of this, Scott, and what you're seeing there, the quote expires today because this is promotional pricing. Tomorrow, the price is 10,000. So in August, they were running a promotional deal, and that's why the price is the way it is.
Our price would be 8,000.
And that's a population-based thing in general for theirs, and they're traditionally higher, and we negotiated down partly because of their area of interest.
So, Jamie, you want a motion to approve
Like-
and authorize the chairman to sign the near map agreement for $8,000?
It doesn't matter who signs it. I'm seeking approval to sign it myself.
Okay.
I can sign it, and I'm seeking the funding though, if you wanna tell me.
Dave will bill it for you, and then we'll.
Yeah, we can take care of that, yes.
Okay, then yes.
Cool.
All right,
So-
I'll make that motion for you.
I'll
Sam.
second
So the motion,
Authorizing Jamie to sign the agreement.
agreement for 1 year,
And just date, Jamie, just so the board knows,
and,
you did have that reviewed by our legal team, right?
Correct.
Thank you very much.
and, then, seconded by Supervisor Shea to approve and Jamie to fund the near map agreement from, David's budget for the agreements for 1 year, right? So is it gonna be from September 1st to next August then?
If I turn this back into them today, the agreement would start today.
Right.
Yeah. So 1 year term from now.
Okay. You'll give us like what, quarterly or?
So what will
semi-annual
happen
report or
next
something?
is, so this is a city, county entity thing, where it takes a while to distribute those users out. The first place it'll impact is our public GIS website. And then from there out, it'll trickle to other people as we can distribute it and get their logins and everything ready.
And I assume, the feedback survey you sent out, the people that, I don't know who all went to, they all responded back somewhat favorably.
It wasn't a strong response to the survey. And I wouldn't even consider it a sample size
Right.
to make any decisions based off. However, the 100% consensus was the most current image was most valuable. However, I just don't think there was enough response to really call that the answer, to be fair.
Okay, any other questions? Okay, thank you, Jamie.
Yep, thank you all.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, like sign. Hearing none, motion passes. Okay,
Thank you.
yep, thank you.
Thanks, Jamie. Hey, thanks for that map too, by the way.
Okay, next up, we have David Bear, CIO update on Microsoft 365 project.
Sure, so last week you had asked for an update on Microsoft 365 and where we're at on that project. Just as a refresh or an update on what Microsoft 365 is, it is a new email calendar software. It is cloud-based storage for files and Office products, so Word, Excel, PowerPoint, those kinds of things will all be stored in the cloud. New collaborative software in Microsoft Teams, so that would be for video conferencing or chatting, things like that. So that's what 365 is roughly. We put an RFP together, we sent that out roughly 3 weeks ago. Yesterday was the closing date for that. We received 5 vendor responses for that RFP, and we're evaluating those now. I haven't looked at them in depth at all personally, other than what the costs are. And they range anywhere from $12,000 to $50,000. So I'll need to see what the differences are between those, but we'll be making a decision here in the next couple weeks on which vendor we like the best, and then we'll come to you guys for that approval. The board had put this piece of it, the vendor part of it, as a bond payment. So we would be paying for the vendor portion in our bond. The monthly service fee would be out of the IT budget.
Okay, so the Microsoft, do we have a Microsoft vendor that exists today then?
Well, we don't work directly with Microsoft. We work to buy Office today. We go through Insight,
Okay.
which is a state, we use a state contract for that.
Okay,
So when we buy a new PC for someone and we get them Microsoft Office, we go to Insight and say we need one license or whatever, and then we buy it from them.
was Insight one of the bidders this?
No,
No.
no.
Okay,
No, what we were looking for with the vendors wasn't the licensing. We're looking for the help with transitioning, because this is very heavy lifting. This is all of our email forever. This is all of our Office products. This is new Teams software that we've never used before. And it's all that together, plus Azure, which is the cloud solution, and getting that all up there from here. So it's a heavy load, and we wanted support in that from a vendor that's done this before. We've never done a migration from on-premise Microsoft to cloud-based Microsoft. It's a one-time deal, so that's why I wanted the help.
wasn't there a number of 60,000 that we?
I thought it was 50.
We put 40,000 in for bonding this piece of the project.
So we should be okay then.
We should be okay. This
That's
should
total
cover.
cost is 40?
40 is what we budgeted. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
And then what's the monthly fee?
The monthly fee, we figured it'll be $100,000 a year at roughly $20 per user per month. That's to be determined. We don't know if we'll give everyone this or some people. We don't know. We need to figure those details out, but
So
that's
the
IT.
RFPs you sent out, right?
I sent out one RFP, yep, and sent it out to 5 or 6 different vendors that we thought could do this work.
You got 5 of them
We got
back?
5 back yesterday, was the end of business day date. And we have 5 back, and so we'll be evaluating those this week and next
And
week.
there's that big a difference in the pricing?
Yeah, that's why I need to figure out what the differences are.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm leaning towards the one that costs more, but I need to figure out why the difference. What is it? because we're needing help here, and we don't wanna be short on help. So, we'll see what their issues are.
Most of them not local then?
One of them is local, Converged One is local. IP Pathways out of Des Moines, if that's considered local or not, I don't know, but, and then several from other parts of the country.
Okay.
So when will you be back in front of the board, David, with those bids?
I'm guessing in a couple weeks, but I need to look at those as a team, we need to look at those and determine what's the best one. But I think in 2 to 3 weeks, we'll be here, talking about it some more.
Okay, what is your plan for the initial phase to get this thing started and when you anticipate it to be done? Do you know that yet?
Part of it will depend on when they're available, but I think the whole rollout will be a 2 to 3 month process, once we begin.
You'll have that information when you come back with the bids.
Yeah, because they all included their time frame in the bids. So
Okay.
It doesn't involve any equipment, right?
there's no hardware involved because this is a cloud-based solution.
Okay. Okay, any other questions?
David, thank you very much for that.
Yep, you're welcome.
Thanks, David.
Okay, next up, we have John Rasmussen, County Engineer, approval grading contract with Lead Construction and authorize the chairman to sign the contract and bond. John?
We awarded the bid last week to Lee Construction for $265,337.40. For the contract completion date's November 23rd of this year.
You're comfortable with these guys?
Yeah.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Scott has the originals. I'll pick those up from Andrew later.
And, you made the motion, right? Shade, you seconded it? These documents, John, does it need all the board signatures on it?
No, I'll just write those names in there.
Okay.
I think they just want attendees, and then they put Matt down as the signatory for the bond too, so I'll have to track him down.
That.
Wilbur.
Oh, okay. I guess I didn't see that. Is that not in here?
I didn't tab it. It's right above your signature where I tabbed.
Okay.
That was way under the estimate for that project, right?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, there it is.
190,000.
190,000, so you shouldn't be coming back to us for any more money for that.
I wouldn't say that. Have you ever seen a construction project come in perfect?
One of yours? No.
Hey, an estimate. Wow.
See where steel is gonna be.
Yeah, steel's a big concern. We have a lot of things up in the air still.
When's that gonna go out for bid, John?
Probably the end of October or early November. We're at 60% design now.
Awesome.
Thank you.
So we can bid it and then have to the site be ready, and if we have to rebid it, then so be it, I would guess.
I imagine they'll extend that contract period to give the contractors a lot of time to source materials. Hopefully that brings our cost down too.
Okay. Okay. Thanks, appreciate it. You wanna take these?
You get to vote on it?
Oh, I'm sorry. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? Like sign, hearing none, motion passes. You wanna?
Sure.
Save yourself a trip.
Now we gotta track down Matt Wilbur, that'll be fun.
I tried texting him if I were you. All right, Scott, I'll make a motion to approve Veterans Affairs Administrative Assistant job description.
Second.
Okay. Let's get there, right? Okay. Okay, who wants to start?
I'll start. Did you guys have the copy of the updated? I sent it with, I have copies if you want. Yeah, I sent it to Andrew, but, okay. Yeah, so the reason I want to change this is just, I'm not adding a position, it's just changing the receptionist to an administrative assistant. And the reason I want to do that is I want to give them a little bit more responsibility. And when we start doing the outreach across the county, I'm going to have more of my caseworkers gone throughout the day. So I want to be able to train this person to do a little more of the little details and a little bit of case management. So as far as scanning in documents and getting the right information to that caseworker. So anybody coming into our office don't really see a change, just maybe a little different, right? So I want to be able to put more responsibility on that person.
An increase in pay.
The increase in pay, it's $1.54 an hour more. Actually, the end pay scale is 3 cents difference, so not really a whole lot of change there, but.
And throughout the county, the only receptionist position we have is at the VA, whereas we have other administrative assistants. So it just makes sense to make it be more of a consistent position. And so this position is technically vacant right now. Well, I mean, Jess is still doing it. So then when we go to hire, we would hire as an administrative assistant, not the receptionist position.
So you don't need to change your budget.
No, I won't need to change my budget at all.
Make a motion.
So,
We're good.
You got that much fluff?
Well, I don't have fluff, but,
No,
so what I,
because his part-timer's not there, so I mean.
yeah, my part-timer's been vacant for a month. And then also with Pam retiring, her pay scale to what the new person is pretty significant, so that'll, yeah,
So you're gonna post this as soon as this gets approved?
yes.
is that, when we go into an administrative assistant, right?
Correct.
There was a receptionist.
Correct.
So are we taking that receptionist out of our job classifications?
I think we
since
should.
don't Have, this was the only one we had?
Yes.
And then, this is this ASME then?
This will now be. So the receptionist position was not a union position. Now that it goes to administrative assistant, I know, it will go into a union. Yes, because the other administrative assistants are.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, last year during negotiations, we did update some of the titles and really thought, receptionist probably should have been part of it, but it just never was included in any of the titles over all these years in any of the contracts. But this will be now.
But the receptionist is not today.
Correct.
So, okay.
Are these considered county employees and not VA employees?
Yeah, they're all county employees.
The VA don't have any employees, does it?
Everyone in Nick's office is a county employee.
Including Nick?
Yeah, the
Including-
caseworker's under a union, right?
No, they're not.
So we're gonna have one union position over there.
Correct. Well, and if you think about community services, for example, they have one union position over there, the administrative assistant.
She'll be under the Baker Tilly deal.
No.
I just don't want this person to be, never mind, I don't. Is there a different title we can have that's non-union, does the same thing?
Well, most of the clerk or administrative assistant, those level of positions are all union. Because Nick and I did toss around making it a clerk position and having the clerk title. It doesn't quite fall in line with what our other clerks do, such as recorders, but those are all union positions as well.
Yeah, I just don't want what I would call the advantage of taking this role on from receptionist to administrative assistant to be taken away by now having to pay union dues and things like that, or feeling pressure to. So.
That's a personal choice.
It is, I know, but I'm just saying I don't want to create those situations for employees when we don't have to.
Don't tell them. Just kidding.
No, you see what I'm saying, I just don't, it's like, okay, you get a $1.50 raise, but your union due is gonna eat that up anyway, so. And that person deserves to be represented by the union if that is the case, so it's not like I'm trying to discount that, it's just, are we doing the right thing here?
Nick, will this, help me out with this, will this person, we have to send this person to school?
I would like to send them just to the state level, not the federal level
That
training.
gives them the opportunity to even see any of those documents that you're talking about to provide for your caseworker.
They would be able to understand the documents better, yes.
Awesome, all right.
Any
Call
other,
for the vote?
any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, like sign. Hearing none, motion passes. Okay, next up, we got Becky Linehan, Finance Tax Officer, Auditor's Office, discussion or decision on amendment of fiscal 2021/22 budget and setting public hearing on said amendment.
I sent you an email on all of the items that need to be amended.
Yeah, I think it just pretty much lines up with what we did with the transfers and stuff last week, just to make the actual budget amended.
Scott, I'll make that motion to approve and set the time and place for public hearing on the amendment for the fiscal 2021-22 budget for September 21st at 10 a.m.
Second.
Okay, we got a first and a second. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, like sign. Hearing none, motion passes. Okay, now we got Jana Limerick, HR Director, Leanne Gifford, Assistant County Attorney, closed session pursuant to Iowa Code